Every time I stumble onto X during this torturous election season, I see multiple posts about teleprompters. Yeah, teleprompters. Apparently, they say, Kamala Harris cannot operate without a teleprompter. Apparently, they say, Kamala Harris cannot speak unscripted. Now, I am not a Democrat and I am not a Kamala booster, but my guess is this. As a longtime prosecutor, when she was trying cases, questioning witnesses, and giving opening and closing arguments, she was not using a teleprompter. And you know what? Though Donald Trump keeps belittling Kamala on the teleprompter front, he uses one too. In the old days, news anchors and public speakers would have notes in front of them. Lo and behold, technology brings us the teleprompter. Everyone has a teleprompter. I am using a teleprompter right now. I just read I am using a teleprompter right now off of the teleprompter. And now it says, hurry up, you pea brain. We have to get to the rest of the show. Keep your pants on. I'll get there, Rick. I can't even remember how we get to the rest of the show now. Oh, yeah, right. Live from New York, it's Saturday night. Who put that in there? Who put that in there? If any of you production putzes ever screw with me again, I will go gambling mad! Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Norman Chad. And welcome to Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. I am Norman Chad. Gambling Mad, as always, brought to you by Fritos, picked fresh off of Central California trees each morning, delivered directly to your retailer every afternoon. And by Fresca. It's refreshing. It's remarkable. It's Fresca. Fritos and Fresca. It's a meal. Coming up on today's show, did Wilt Chamberlain really score 100 points one night? How much would you sell your firstborn for if you really needed the money to gamble? And can America really withstand another Subway Series? But first, it's NBA time again. That makes me smile. As opposed to when someone tells me it's NHL time again. I subscribe to NBA League Pass for those endless cold winter nights when Tony is not talking to me. Let's run down a bunch of things that you should know as the NBA season gets underway. The Detroit Pistons will not lose 28 games in a row again. No team in professional sports has ever lost 28 games in a row 2 consecutive seasons. The Atlanta Hawks won the NBA draft lottery, and they had the number 1 overall pick in the draft, but nobody within the sound of my voice can tell me who they selected. The New York Knicks will be better with Karl Anthony Towns, but you cannot win a title with Spike Lee in the front row. The Knicks should have traded for Jack Nicholson. The LA Clippers have a new state-of-the-art arena, but they forgot to bring along a new state-of-the-art team. Oops. Good seats, bad games. The Washington Wizards are so awful, they will be renamed the Washington Generals by the All-Star break. LeBron and Bronny James will coexist as the first father-son teammates in NBA history. But by December 1st, Bronny will let all of his dad's phone calls go straight to voicemail. The Philadelphia 76ers have an old problem: injuries. Joel Embiid and Paul George will not be able to stay on the court. Heck, I have IBS, kidney stones, long COVID, and sciatica, and I'm healthier than any 76er. And finally, and in all seriousness, the Denver Nuggets will win it all. I still believe in Nikola Jokic, who is the real Joker. Reason number 4,229 that I hate the internet. On March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points for the Philadelphia Warriors in their 169-147 win over the New York Knicks, setting the NBA single-game scoring record. But the last few years, across the World Wide Web, there has been a growing movement of huckledoodles and dingleberries who claim it never happened. Their main argument: there is no video of it. Listen, you ESPN boob tubers. Stuff happened before cable TV. There's no video of God creating the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then resting on the seventh, but creationists believe it. There's no video of Columbus crossing the Atlantic and stumbling onto the New World, but Indigenous Peoples Day commemorates it. There's no video of me being a cesarean section birth, but obviously I am. Here are the facts. Write them down if you got a pen and pencil nearby. The game was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Wilt scored 23 points in the first quarter. He had 41 points by halftime. He then had 69 points through 3 quarters. Fans began shouting, "Give it to Wilt," and the Warriors obliged. When he scored a basket with 46 seconds left, play was halted and fans ran onto the court to celebrate this moment. And after the game, Wilt in the locker room held up a piece of paper that said 100. Okay, yes, there was no TV coverage of the game. Yes, there were only 4,000 plus people in attendance. And yes, Wilt made 28 of 32 free throws, even though he was a 51% career foul shooter. Author Gary Pomerantz wrote the book Wilt 1962, The Night of 100 Points. He interviewed 56 eyewitnesses, including 15 players and a referee. None of them says Wilt didn't score 100 points. They all know he scored 100 that night. So stop casting doubt on it, you conspiracy theory-toting internet imbeciles. On the other hand, there's that business about Wilt claiming he slept with 20,000 women. You can show me all the video you want. I don't want to see any of it. But you can show me all the video you want, but there's no way he got to 20,000. I mean, 16, 17,000 maybe. Degen's gonna degen. Case number 1. A 28-year-old man was arrested in Gilbert, Arizona for allegedly ogling women's feet as they vacuumed their cars. Where do we get this stuff? Who is doing this? Somebody is doing this, though. According to AZ Family TV, police said that Jesse Johnson would park next to a woman's car at the vacuum station at Superstar Car Wash and then slide underneath the female's car to view their feet for several minutes. He supposedly did this on 3 separate occasions. Johnson previously had been cited 4 times in Nebraska for his public foot fetish, including once in which he touched a woman's ankle in a grocery store. He told authorities that he is sexually attracted to women's feet. No. I thought he was a pedicurist, quality control expert. Johnson was charged with 3 counts of voyeurism and 3 counts of disorderly conduct and held on $10,000 bond. You know, Leonardo da Vinci once wrote, "The human foot is a masterpiece of engineering and a work of art." And da Vinci was a genius. But this was pre-car wash, and he couldn't really then follow his passion in any untoward manner. Degen's gonna degen case number 2. Indonesian police arrested a 36-year-old man near Jakarta after he allegedly sold his 11-month-old baby on Facebook for $995 to fund his online gambling habit. The baby's mother came home one day, according to the Telegraph, and asked her husband where the child was. The father confessed that he'd been on Facebook and saw buyers were looking to acquire a toddler, so he messaged them and arranged the purchase. Police found the infant in a nearby rental home and arrested 2 adults on human trafficking charges. Now, I don't want to get all morally verklempt and outrageous about what happened here, but what kind of lowlife would sell his baby to cover gambling losses? I guess maybe a Jets fan. Degen's gonna degen. Time for NFL picks. All right. Last week, we were 2-3. Our season record now against the spread, 10-9-1, which means no sizzler. Going to have to stick with the $5 McDonald's meal deal for at least one more week. By the way, about the meal deal, okay? I saw the ads on TV, $5, you get the McChicken or the McDouble. I went there. It's an extra $1. It's $6 if you get the McDouble. I ain't paying $6. The ad said $5. I told them that. They brought the manager out. I told him that. I paid $6. It's BS. Anyway, let's go to the picks. I'm worried this season I've been picking too many favorites. Sharps take underdogs. Squares take favorites. Squares are stupid. You are looking at stupid. So I'm happy enough that we are at 10-9 right now. Let's start with the Titans at the Bills. Will Levis is the Titans' starting quarterback. As you may recall, I would not even speak his name a few weeks ago. He is 30th among NFL quarterbacks in passing yards. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks. He is 31st among NFL quarterbacks in passer rating. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks. He has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, which is generally frowned upon by most NFL coaches. I like Will Levis personally, but I think he might want to reconsider his career options. America could always use another podcaster, Will. I'm taking the Bills in this one. They're laying a bigger number, -8. Take the Bills. Eagles are at the Giants, division rivals. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni started jawing with fans last week after their win against the Browns. Nick, stop interacting with the fans. There's no upside there. I don't interact with fans. I don't even interact with my family. Somebody's always got a beef, or somebody's always claiming that you owe them money. Everyone out there is hoi polloi. Ignore the hoi polloi. Just concentrate on X's and O's, Nick. That's why they bought you a chalkboard in the locker room. Plus, you got to be happy you're playing the Giants this week. The Eagles have won 5 in a row against New York, not counting last year's regular season finale, which was meaningless because the Eagles were already in the playoffs. So, in this one, we are going to take the Eagles -3.5. Raiders at the Rams. This is a poop bag game. These are bags on board, by the way. Very good poop bags. Now, if you could, with a game like this, you'd scoop the game into a poop bag, tie a knot at the top, and throw it away. That's how bad this game is. The Raiders are 2-4. The Rams are 1-4. The Raiders are worse than their record indicates. The Rams are better than their record indicates. I know this from the record indicator that I keep on my nightstand during NFL season. This game is in Los Angeles, but the Raiders, who used to play in LA, will have more fans there than the Rams. This is because most Rams fans prefer Sunday brunch to Sunday football, and most Raiders fans, at least those who are not in jail, prefer drinking on Sunday afternoons. I'm going to close my eyes and hope that the Rams can cover the spread. Rams -6. Time for the calendar game of the week. I wish I could whistle. Jets at the Steelers. The Jets traded for Devontae Adams this week to keep Aaron Rodgers happy. They'll trade for Dr. Fauci next week and put him on laundry detail to keep Aaron Rodgers happy. You cannot keep Aaron Rodgers happy. He stands in front of his microwave oven and complains it takes too long. He is estranged from most of his family and his gardener. When he was dating former NASCAR driver Danica Patrick, he told her that she drove too slow. And he will not be happy when the Steelers beat his Jets. And how are the Jets favored in this one? Take the Steelers +1 in our calendar pick of the week. And we wrap up with, when are y'all going to get me a teleprompter? Every bigwig has a teleprompter. Oh, well, the difference is that you're not a bigwig. I know that. Would it kill you? Chargers at Cardinals. This is a textbook bounce game. Last week, the Chargers took a 23-0 lead in beating the Broncos. Last week, the Cardinals fell behind 24-0 in losing to the Packers. These teams will bounce. The bounce effect, which I've talked about before, the bounce effect happens in real life as well. Blockbuster Video had a really good year in 2004 and filed for bankruptcy protection shortly after. Netflix started slowly as a mail order service in 1999, and now they get more Academy Award nominations than any studio, plus they get my $15 each and every month. By the way, does anyone need a DVD player? Take the Cardinals and the points in this one. It is time for our election update. Election update. We have extraordinary red-blue news to report. And to do that, let's go over to our national electoral map to explain. Time for an election exclusive. I have access to the count of mail-in ballots in several places. And since I now know the count, we are able to project that the state of California and the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., both of them will be going to Kamala Harris. We are projecting Kamala Harris to win California and Washington, D.C. 54 electoral votes, 3 electoral votes. It's 57-0 already, and we're not even to Election Day. Do you know how hard it is to come back from a 57-0 deficit? Well, let me give you some point of perspective here. 1940 National Football League championship game. The Bears led Washington 42-0 at the half. Final score, Bears 73, Washington nothing. It's 57-0 already. How's Trump going to win it? He might win it. But we've got this projected for Kamala Harris, and we have this projected for Washington, D.C. Now, back on the climate change front, global warming will not stop. And now this Sunday afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona, which has been just overwhelmed by heat, not just whelmed, overwhelmed by heat, this Sunday afternoon at 2:15, 168 degrees in Phoenix, a record 168. Do not even walk barefoot in your home. That is it. We will have election and weather updates throughout the weekend. Election and weather on the 5s. I'm Norman Jad. As many of you know, I am pretty much the unofficial guide to Las Vegas. I know the town. Back in the day, Sinatra would walk into the sands and people would turn their heads. Well, these days, when I walk into Eddie World, the greatest mini mark on earth, en route to Las Vegas, people turn their heads. Anyway, I've been keeping up with this bed bug situation in Las Vegas because somebody has to. We have reported on this previously, and those little pests simply will not leave Sid City alone. The Southern Nevada Health District reports that bed bugs were found in the past several months at the Bellagio, Cosmopolitan, Hilton Grand Vacation Club, and Resorts World. According to casino.org, that brings the number to 17 Las Vegas resorts where bed bugs have been found since 2021. Now, if I can speak to the gamblers out there directly right now, this is very important. Even if you find a bed bug in your hotel room, this should not affect your advantage play at the tables or at the slots. This is another casino tactic to get a house edge on you. They're trying to get into your head. Don't let it happen. But if you can't handle this, you got to get out of Dodge. Heck, I will go with you to Reno tomorrow if you're willing to drive. I think there is another Eddie World up that way. I think it's on US 95. Before we wrap up, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. I will watch a Rob Schneider movie marathon before I watch a Yankees-Mets Subway Series. The two scariest words in sports, other than Skip Bayless, are Subway Series. We are closing in on the possibility of the Yankees and Mets meeting in baseball's World Series. The Subway Series, so named because New York City has more Subway shops than any city on the planet, occurred only one time before, back in 2000. I did not watch a single pitch of that World Series. I don't even know who won. In fact, I have ripped that entire year out of my memory bank. I sure hope we elected the right guy to the White House in 2000. The worst thing about a Yankees-Mets Subway Series isn't the Yankees or the Mets, it's the Yankees and Mets fans. I got to go to one game at the old Yankee Stadium when I was in college. In the 8th inning, there was a man standing in the last row of the upper deck, his back to the field, his pants down to his ankles, urinating out of the stadium, which I'll admit is probably better than urinating in the stadium, I think. That will do it for another edition of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, if you're going to roll the dice, make sure they are loaded. Okay, I'm going to show you something today that's going to change your life. The poop bag. Oh, let me tell you about this poop bag thing, okay? You do your business, and then I pick it up, okay? So when you do number 2, all right, you don't have to worry about wiping your butt or buying bathroom tissue or flushing the toilet. You just poop, and then I scoop. And then you go on, and you have a fabulous day, huh? Cammy, it's a dog's life, isn't it? Yeah. That's good. All right, enough already, Cammy. Basta.
Gambling Mad with Norm Chad is written by Norm Chad and ghostwritten by Norm Chad. Executive producer John Scheinberg, Rick Barrio-Dill, and produced by Norm Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Associate producer is Bree Khoury. And on editing, Asher Friedberg. And studio facilities provided by 360 Pod Studios Beverly Hills and Slap Studios LA. If you want to complain to Norm about anything, make sure to reach out at Gambling Mad Show, anywhere you get your socials, and at Gambling Mad with Norm Chad on YouTube. And if you really want to get at him, send a message to info@slapstudiosla.com. And big thanks to Tony, the special sauce, who truly is the boss. Thank you for the cookies and the treats. We promise you to make the post-production move faster.